The time of peace was amazing. Undescribable, actually. But after 12 years, I started to notice something accumulating in the East. Some distant kings that I knew nothing about, really. But they started to gain some momentum. Now, I was in the middle of the Siddim Pact. It was a sea of salt pact that I had with 5 other kings. So I wasn't too worried, and when I'd heard news from some spies, I guess there were 4 kings that had joined this enemy pact. Well, there's a lot of distance between them and us, but I never thought that they would come. So I waited for about a year, monitoring their tracking their progress, but nothing seemed to stop them. And I've been told that Sodom and Gomorrah had been a wicked place, so a place that had grown many wicked men, but could this have been the judgment of God? I don't know. It came up on the 13th year, and they started approaching our front gates, and I noticed we had some very difficult geographical advantages to our land. We had these tar pits, and I figured if we strategically set our men right in front of these tar pits, it would give our men this moral support not to retreat. Or I could put my men behind the tar pits, and that way the soldiers would have to come through those tar pits to head us head on, and that would slow them down. We outnumbered their forces easily. There were 5 armies to 4, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it was God's judgment. I decided to put my men in front of the tar pits. It was kind of like a last decision. And they came so fast. And I was out of there as quickly as I could. I didn't even watch the end of the battle, but what I heard was gruesome. Most of my men died by the tar pits instead of the sword, and then the ones that lived retreated away into the mountains. Oh, as I found my way back to my safe place, I did nothing but weep. The loss of men, the failure of my people. They took all of my citizens as slaves, and they looted my city, took everything I had. The great Sodom had fallen. But then there was this one man. What was his name? Abraham. Abraham had heard that one of his nephews was taken in this war as a pawn, as slave, and all of his wealth had been taken. And without a flinch of doubt, he gathered only 300 men, and went in pursuit of these evil kings and kingdoms. And you've got to remember, Abraham, so I've heard, lives in Hebron, which is in the southern part near the Dead Sea. And by this time, the armies of the east had gone as far as Dan and Damascus. That is over 150 miles by flight. Man, that's got to be weeks, maybe even months of traveling. But Abraham took no time to think about this. He immediately gathered these 318 men and went in hot pursuit of this king. As he was going off, I half-heartedly wished him his best. I didn't even know the man, but he went for it. Months, I'd heard rumors of him going here and there, talking to these people going there, and I gave them the best lead I could, and I don't know how he found him. But the story goes that once he found their location, he divided his 300 men around this army and just pillaged them. Thousands of men. I don't know. I didn't even pay attention to how many men there were, but impeccable. The next thing I know, Abraham's returning with a surplus of men, all of my citizens and all my wealth, and I was just astonished. Sodom was a sinful place, but this man's faith saved his nephew. So on return, I got back up on my throne and I offered him all the wealth he could desire, or anything that he wanted from what he plundered, and he just said no. No, he actually just wanted to surrender 10%. 10% up to the high priest. And then there was this man Melchizedek. I mean, who is this guy? No one even knows him. And he comes before him and says that the Lord God has delivered your army. The Lord God, since you are a righteous man, a man of God, he has delivered you. I didn't know what to take of that. But Abraham denied all the wealth and took back he let me take back all the people and all the wealth, and except for what his men fought for. He let his men take their worth. And Lot was saved. There is success in faith, and Abraham is a man of faith. That is my story. I don't know how that went.